Hey, this is my first installment on some ancient Christian sources concerning the rise of Islam, and particularly a biography of Muhammad and how he formed Islam. This source is Armenian. It's about the 10th century. Its author is said to have been Movses Kaghankatvatsi, or Movses Daskhurantsi. Sorry, I don't speak classical Armenian. Anyway, here's the work. It's called The History of the Anhuans. It's book 3 and section 1 on. It states the following. Let us narrate here what we have learned from our inspired teachers about what came to pass, bearing in mind that the prophetic words spoken about Ishmael, his hand shall be against everyone, and he shall become a great nation. At the time of the waning of the Sassanian Persian kingdom, a man arose named Muhammad, who was one of the false prophets that the Savior taught us about. He had a diabolical spirit and was a ferocious archer living in the desert. One day Satan, taking form of a wild ass, took him to meet a certain false Aryan Cenobite named Bahira. Then the evil one disappeared. The well-bent bow of Muhammad was aimed at Bahira, but the man screamed out, "Do not sin, my son, for I am a man just like you." Then Muhammad said to him, "If you are a man, why are you living in a cave?" Then Bahira called Muhammad to him and started to teach him from the Old and New Testaments according to the interpretations of Arius, who considered the Son of God to be a created being. Bahira commanded him to relate to the barbarous Arabs, the Tachites, what he learned from him, his loathsome teacher. He also demanded that no one should know his whereabouts. That ignorant, pagan, self-indulgent people was astonished at such eloquent talk, and asked Muhammad, "How do you know such things?" Muhammad replied, deceiving his own kinsfolk, "An angel spoke these things to me, as to one of the first prophets who spoke to God." The Arabs secretly designated spies to learn who had told him these things and how he knew all these things. When Muhammad found out about this, he secretly and treacherously had his evil teacher killed and buried in the sand. Now Then he sat at the very spot and told the spies, "Here is where the angel appeared to me and informed me about the very great wonders." When they observed that he was alone, they went and related everything to the credulous and fanatical Arab people. They convened a great council, went into the waterless, devil-haunted desert, and with the greatest honor led that demon-inspired Muhammad into their midst. Then was the word of the Savior fulfilled concerning the acceptance of a false prophet. For Muhammad, who was deluded by demons, began to prophesy. He said, "If you hear and heed my prophecies and sermons, great power will come to our people." This is what it says in the epistles to the Romans. Our power has been given to us by God. The place where they had their fire pits, their fire temples, and places of sacrifice, Muhammad renamed the Dome of Abraham, and the place where God had walked and he ordered then and there that the fire temples, and the places of sacrifice to be destroyed. He called his army the army of Abraham. He ordered them to pray to a square altar, and he had erected a stone pillar, erected to be kissed in the name of Abraham. The venerable prophet Jeremiah prophesied about such a one. If a man divorces his wife and goes from him, and she goes from him and becomes another man's wife, will he return to her? Would not that woman be greatly polluted? Muhammad himself did such a thing. A certain Arab named Talib had a beautiful wife. Muhammad therefore sent a message saying, "God has commanded you to leave your wife." Talib took that wife of his and brought her to the marketplace. where he swore before witnesses and reputed her and released her from him. Muhammad took the woman from him, fulfilled his lecherous lust on her, and sent her back to Talib, saying, God has ordered you to take her back again. And so he introduced this disgusting law among their people that if a man repudiates his wife and she goes and sleeps with someone else, he may take her back again. Such then is their legislation. They swore by the terrible name of God, and broke their oath, yet they swear by the genitalia of woman, and keep the oath inviolable. He also taught other similarly disgusting things to that people. They are precursors and troops of the Antichrist who will be his worshippers and comrades. The blessed Paul said about them, they are men corrupted in the mind and counterfeit in faith, whose folly will be made plain on the day to all on the day of judgment of God. And else were weeping I will tell you about the enemies of the cross of Christ. Their end is destruction. In the 65th year of the Armenian era, the false prophet Muhammad appeared in the city of Medina. In the 70th year, he went to the Dome of Abraham. From there, in the month of Safar, he went to that city, which today is called after his name, Muhammad. He remained there for 1 year, during his entire course of which he made raids from that city. Beginning in the month of Rabi al-Awwal, he delivered the dome of Abraham. The 19th of Ramadan marked the eighth year of his rule. On the 15th day of the month of Shawwal, he fought with the Persian Republic. In the month of the Dhul al-Qa'dah, at the time when day turns to night at Mecca, he returned from there to his city, where he remained for 6 days in the month of Al-Qa'dah in the same year. He left Said, the son of Abu Said, in Mecca, and his comrades returned to Mecca. Chief among his comrades was Abu Bakr's son, Abu Kuhun Bey. This was the 9th year of Muhammad's rule. In the 10th year, he died. On Monday, the second day of the month of Rabi al-Awwal, after a rule of 10 years, he preached and secretly strengthened his faith during the 13 years. He was 40 years old when he appeared, and 63 when he died. Anyway, this is just that Movses Daskhuranci's history of the Angwan people and how Muhammad came to power. Anyway, God bless.